Keep watching SABC Sport for the love of the game.
Powered by SABC for the love of the game.
South Africa has the most highly developed and sophisticated economy on the African continent, a world-class banking system, a sophisticated transport infrastructure, and some of the most beautiful places in the world, has made South Africa a destination of choice for investors, foreign tourists, and those seeking a better life. South Africa's estimated annual gross domestic product, the value of all goods and services produced in the country in 1 year, is in the region of $350 billion. With a population of around 50 million people, according to the 2011 census, it is a potentially lucrative market for any international business seeking to expand its footprint into Africa. After its first democratic election, global multinational companies set up shop in South Africa. Apart from the growing market, South Africa also provided the perfect location for companies seeking to move further into Africa. International crime syndicates have also made the move.
I operate as an international consultant, focusing on transnational organized crime. I am with an organization which is based in Geneva, which is called the Global Initiative Against Transnational Organized Crime. We have sophisticated international groups from China. The Italian mafia is here. Pakistani syndicates work with drugs, with mandrax. We have Central European syndicates. There are Thai and Cambodian ones that focus on rhino horn. Israeli ones involved with diamond smuggling. Nigeria, very strong and powerful when it comes to drugs. So the list is very long. They operate not in such a blatant way as to attract the attention of the public through big sports cars or fights in the bar. They are smart, they keep a low profile, but they are very wealthy and they penetrate the top echelons of our society. Across the range, you can say that the main international criminal syndicates have a foothold in South Africa as well.
I am Ibrahim Kadwa. I'm the acting head for organized crime investigations in the Directorate for Priority Crime Investigation, better known as the Hawks. Organized crime groups are basically investing in opportunities. So all around the world, they're basically looking at how do we expand our operations, how do we diversify into these markets. So certainly they are continuously looking for opportunities all over. And yes, all countries in one way or the other are targeted by organized crime groups. Interestingly, according to the United Nations Office for Drugs and Crimes, the world's wealthiest countries also happen to be the world's biggest markets for transnational organized crime. So you can see, at the end of the day, we're dealing with crime economics. Like legitimate investors are looking into investing, the criminal entrepreneurs are also looking at where are the biggest markets that they can be able to invest into.
Experts claim that drug trafficking is the most fruitful criminal activity for global crime syndicates. The illegal drug trade is a global black market dedicated to the growth, generation, distribution, and sale of illegal drugs. Most countries don't allow trade except under license of many types of drugs through the use of drug prohibition laws. According to the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, the global drug trade is estimated at around $400 billion, roughly the same as the entire GDP of South Africa. The 2014 World Drug Report by the UNODC noted that South Africa is the regional hub for drug trafficking and largest transit zone for illicit drugs in Southern Africa. The country is used as a transit point for drugs being moved particularly into Europe and Asia. Drug trafficking is an extremely profitable enterprise for the over 200 organized crime syndicates in South Africa. There are links between the drug trafficking activities of organized crime groups and other criminal acts, ranging from car hijackings and robberies to the smuggling of firearms, stolen cars, endangered species, as well as human trafficking.
I'm a specialist investigator into serious violent crime and serious economic crimes. It's a kind of living. It's a lifestyle that they live, and it usually consists of a group of people with a leader, which then will have certain captains and which will then have certain people that will do certain jobs. And it can be anything from hijacking, house robberies, blackmailing, prostitution, extortion, etc., etc.
South Africa is one of the largest recreational drug consumers in Africa. The use of crack cocaine, heroin, and methamphetamines are all on the increase. The South African trade in drugs is dominated by four main types. Cannabis or dagga, which is also the most widely used substance. Cocaine, which is consumed both in powder and crystal form. Crystal meth or tuk, which is smoked through a glass pipe. And heroin, which can be injected intravenously or smoked. A cheaper form of heroin called wunga or nyaope on the streets is very popular in working class townships across the country. In South Africa, drug consumption patterns vary among the different parts of the country and different ethnic groups.
My name is David Collins and I'm the founder of Sharp Treatment Centre. We were established in 2001, focusing primarily on substance abuse and related disorders. Drugs in particular have warmed to different cultures. So, for example, in Cape Town, the drug problem is tuk, which is an amphetamine. In Pretoria, there's a lot of heroin. In Johannesburg, in the kind of white employed market, if you like, we're seeing a lot of cat, which used to be cocaine. So drugs are also cyclical and they come in different seasons as well. So like ecstasy for the 90s was the rave drug, and then there was a lot of crack, and what we're seeing is there's a lot of cat now that's coming in.
In the 90s, South Africa was pretty much characterized by cannabis and mandrax. Coming to the influences of globalization, coming to the influences of the global community, we are also seeing that there is a cocktail of different drug substances in South Africa. So we have looked into synthetic drugs like crystal methamphetamine, cat or metcatinone, but also globally we are seeing the new trend of new psychoactive substances, or better known as designer drugs. Now these are all of the systematic shifts from the 90s into the 21st century. And these are the drugs that you also see spread around in various continents around the world. For example, if you look at Southeast Asia, crystal methamphetamine, or as it is known as shabu, is the principal drug of choice. It is a huge market and it also offers huge opportunities. And we're seeing new dynamics around crystal methamphetamine in production in various centers of the world, targeting the Southeast Asian market. Now, in the South African drug scenario, yes, we have seen a cocktail of drugs.
Drugs evolve as the landscape changes and the market demands a more varied experience. This sordid world of destruction affects the lives of all involved. From the drug mule to the user's family, no one is immune.
When my mom found out, she actually ended up in hospital.
Estadio Guadalajara is one of the most architecturally striking venues in the world. Located in Zapopan in the Mexican state of Jalisco, the stadium has a capacity of just under 50,000. The site was inspired by a volcano. The exterior features a sloping parkland that rises to the stadium's upper levels, while the white roof is designed to resemble a cloud hovering over the summit. The seating inside is arranged like a red crater. Known commercially as Estadio Akron, it is the home of Liga MX side Chivas de Guadalajara.
Experience horse racing like never before.
That is fast from the 1600-meter marker. Homeward bound now, 400 meters to go. And tomorrow's runner, Tobacconist, JP's Palace and Kitchico. Number 5 is the tote favorite at 470.
Gallop TV horse racing. Available on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4 and SABC Plus. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
Kuluma, Praat, Bua. In a world that never stops talking, find the voices that actually say something. From real talk to real stories. From culture to hustle. Whatever you're into, there's a podcast waiting for you. From advice on Ask a Man,
relationships are not for everyone. Abanye benu nkhapi. Curtain raisers.
To Middag Vervolgeraal. To the drama on Mahluku. To different daily themes on life, love and all. Politics and social issues on Talk with Faith Mangobe.
Those that are perpetuating the crime, the drug lords and the like.
And much, much more. Stream it on the go. Take it with you to your gym session, car ride, night walk or office break. Download the SABC Plus app now and listen your way. SABC Plus Podcasts.
Hey, welcome to it. So, what is a radiologist?
Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
Globally, the drug landscape is always in flux as new and more profitable drugs are created. The drug that is literally keeping authorities awake at night is heroin. Since 1994, it's made a huge comeback, especially in Gauteng. A street version, cheaper and with greater mass appeal because of its low cost, is causing havoc on the streets. It's called Nyaope or Wunga.
If you look at heroin, if it was sold in its pure form as opposed to in its polydrug form, it was going to be much more expensive. So you can see again the unscrupulous role of the traffickers, drug dealers, to be able to make it affordable and in that way penetrate a mass market in townships, in bigger urban centers. So you can see we are dealing with different dynamics.
The first time when I started using it when I was 14 years old, and I was starting using it Menrex. We started using Menrex up to the years of the 2001 when I started using heroin. The first time that I used heroin, it came with my friend, my other friend, which I was in school with. He found me at the location after we have stopped using Menrex, and he came with that heroin from town. Then he just introduced heroin to me because like it was my friend. Whatever I smoked. And then he showed me how to use the heroin, dacha and stuff. Then I was hooked. Now that thing wanted me to concentrate on it. It took all my talent, took all my studies, because now I was concentrating on smoking. Smoking in the morning, go hustle for the evening.
Few users have the opportunity to seek rehabilitation, and even fewer are able to beat the addiction. Vusi's withdrawal kicked in during the interview, a few hours after his morning hit.
Now I know it's the disease, now it's the sickness. Now it's coming, because usually the sickness, it comes with the unconstant temperature, and now I'll be yawning, maybe my eyes will be dropping some tears, and my body, it's not constant now, because like now the temperature, it's hot now.
You get very bad flu symptoms. You start to cramp, you start to sweat, you feel nauseous, and you just obsess about getting high again to take the pain away. That's really what happens at the end of opiate addiction. So no longer do you get the euphoria, the high of it. You're just trying to get to feel normal.
We're trying to make ourselves busy than sitting, don't do nothing. Because when you're sitting, you don't do nothing. The craving is coming back. You want to steal again, to buy that drug, Nyaopa again to smoke. And when you do the first smoke, it comes the second smoke, then you enter that you're smoking wire.
I want to stop using and start building a better future for myself, because now I can see at some point due to my life I'll be ended up having no family, no house, no car, no job. I'll just be a person who just came to visit at Earth and just went back without receiving any achievements or anything that is good, which I can say I'm proud of at the end of the day.
The Wunga and Nyaope that is found on the streets of South Africa originates in the East. It's smuggled into South Africa through a variety of methods. The most familiar is the use of so-called mules. On the eve of the country's first democratic election in April 1994, one South African who had little to celebrate was beauty queen Vanessa Goosen.
I am Vanessa Goosen, who spent 16 and a half years in a Thai prison in Thailand for drug trafficking.
Vanessa was arrested on her way back to South Africa after a dream trip to Thailand. She was carrying 1.7 kilograms of heroin hidden inside a package of textbooks.
When I was arrested, and there was a language barrier that we did not understand each other. That when this policeman took me over to this poster, and it was in English, and it read heroin death sentence. When I just read that, I realized that I'm in a lot of trouble. When my mom found out, she actually ended up in hospital. My younger sister, she was still at school and she failed. My elder sister, she ended up in a mental institute. And then my grandfather, because I told him that, please don't tell him, I would write to him, because I was closer to my grandfather than I was to my mother. My later didn't make it in time because he went through the U magazine and my pictures were in there and what happened to me was in there. So when my grandfather read it, he died of a heart attack.
Vanessa had herself been sentenced to death. She was one of hundreds of South Africans who have been arrested overseas attempting to smuggle drugs into and out of the country. According to the South African Department of International Relations, there are 884 South Africans languishing in jails overseas.
I'm just an ordinary citizen. I'm no one special. And in 2008, a very good friend of mine was arrested in Venezuela. And so the Locked Up organization began from there. The reports that we get, the feedback we get is in the region of about 700 to 1,000, but we're not sure that this is a true reflection. We struggle to get proper statistics. We think there's probably in the region of about 3,000, but that's unconfirmed.
Despite the huge amount of publicity generated by drug mules arrested abroad, the number of South Africans jailed for this keeps going up. There are nearly 100 in Southeast Asia and nearly 300 in South America.
I used to get very angry after the publicity of my arrest and being everywhere and all over, televised, and still South Africans was walking in that prison. I had so much anger, a lot of anger towards them, and I would ask them, why? didn't you hear anything? No, they didn't hear anything. Didn't you read the newspapers or see anything? Some of them did not. And some that knew was just saying that, I didn't know it. I didn't think it would happen to me.
The real damage is inflicted on the user and his or her family. Once the money dries up, addicts resort to crime and often violence to feed their addiction.
Even now, when you can come to my house, he took my dinner sets, blankets, pots, cutlery. He even sold his own clothes.
They said he couldn't run until he ran faster than doubt itself. She turned every limitation into liberation, one serve at a time.
The US Open win marks Manjane's second Grand Slam title of the year, adding to her victory in June at the Roland Garros.
Together, they proved that vision goes far beyond sight.
Lieutenant Kurtia of South Africa has moved out to the front.
She carried a nation's pride and showed that inclusion is championship.
But it is South Africa's Arune Bayers who's going to take the win.
At SABC Sport, we don't just tell your stories. We see you. We celebrate you. We stand with you. Experience horse racing like never before.
That dispatch from the 1600-meter marker. Homeward bound now, 400 meters to go. And tomorrow's runner, Tobacconist, JP's Palace and Kitchako. Number 5 is the tote favorite at 470.
Gallop TV Horse Racing, available on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4 and SABC Plus. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
Hey, welcome to it. So, what is a radiologist?
Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
England's record goal scorer and national team captain for over a decade, Harry Kane has established himself as the most potent finisher of his generation. Not always the most eye-catching, Kane's ability to find the back of the net has been unerring throughout his career. First with Tottenham Hotspur, then with Bayern Munich, sometimes as a pure number 9, often coming in from a deeper position. He won the FIFA World Cup Golden Boot in 2018 and captained England to silver medals at the Euros of 2020 and 2024. His achievements will stand the test of time.
Highly addictive, cheap drugs in the townships are creating a huge addiction problem.
South Africa is statistically has the fourth largest problem, according to the World Health Organization. So basically, we're fourth on the list of countries that are struggling with addiction or substance abuse related disorders.
As the drug landscape changes and addiction increases, the effect these drugs are having on South African communities and families is of grave concern.
My mother ended up hating me, like sleeping outside. When I come inside in the house, he's chasing me out. Okay, go out. Like he's chasing me like a dog. Go out. Fuchai, I don't want you here. You see, such things. Then I learned from there. Because me and myself, I was sick and tired. Like when I came in the, like I come in my house, my brother watching me, or when I'm busy with something, there's a kid here behind me. I'm telling myself, these kids, they are loving me. They don't love me, they hate me. They send them to watch me, anything I do, because they don't trust me. Anything I can steal. One mistake they have made, they don't hear anything I steal. I go out and sell it to smoke.
My name is Lydia Reba. Today I'm talking to you about my son. He's an addict, drug addict. You know, when he's sober, early in the morning, one day I've called him and we sit down and I've explained to him that I wonder you know what you are doing. Because each and every day when I wake up, I just think, what have I done? Because I feel pain every day.
Go botlhoko ka banjana ba destroy bana ba rona and bona ba bona bana ba bona ba mahaeng ha ba di etse ntotse ke kopa ba kgaotse ba stop ka banjanong ha re ba isa dikolong bana re ba hodisa. You are willing hore in ha sa hodile a sa feditse sekolo a iperekela tlo gona o ikemela ka bana mo bophelong a ke tlo phela for a long time nne ntla be ke le sio. And then ha ntsa tsuba nya o pe ka bana kelellong ka re ya lahle o tlo ikemela jong ha no gona ka bana jana kelellong ka re ile kana o khutlela bongwaneng o tsha ali wane le mamina ka hla a never up until ha sa tsubile ntho o tshwanetse mmele rago ha o tlo re mamina a leketla o tsha ali wane o bua ali wane esefeng ka re kelello hanke.
Ocean Kesebone Mulobane is an aid worker who, together with David Collins, is trying to support the parents of addicts and equip them with the means to train community workers to provide addiction recovery support.
I had always discussed it at our church, to say there are so many, the community of Nyaope smokers is growing. If you go to taxi ranks, if you go to where shopping malls are, they are identical. They ultimately become dead. You can see them, you can identify them. And this community has been growing. So I wasn't surprised. I guess I was also in denial, ignoring it, like everyone else was ignoring it. The only parents that are able to talk about it is when they are in trouble, when their children have really gone out of hand. Most parents are still ashamed. They blame themselves. There's guilt that maybe you are not good parents. Sometimes the problem is that some of the parents are addicts themselves, so they don't know how to deal with it. So it is actually more difficult to deal with it in a community where people are in denial. It's happening right next to us, but we all are in denial, and no one wants to deal with it.
The impact of the widespread use of drugs on crime levels is hugely significant. Depending on the type of drugs used, users may become paranoid and violent. Addicts usually resort to crime to feed their habit.
When you can come to my house, he took my dinner sets, blankets, pots, cutlery. He even sold his own clothes. You buy the clothes, after that the turkeys, he took them to the hostels and sell them cheap.
Yeah, I can say stealing, I did steal from other people's house. Yeah, I've robbed people at night, took their phones, took their money because of this disease and the craving of it. That's the only way at night we can get money to buy the heroin.
Yeah, I was stealing and robbing people. Like when I rob people, I can't rob people on the midnight, on the daylight. I'm waiting for midnight. Then I go to him, I took his phone and it's wallet, money. Because and you can kill anyone. Because anything you think, you make it. When you're robbing people, we used to carry a knife or a screwdriver. You see, and then we go into where's the phone, where's the wallet? Then we check it. When it doesn't, like how I can put this? Like mara sukuli sugu sniga. They keep women quasi. Like we were stealing her, him or her, living there. We don't care. It's down or it's up. We don't care.
Yeah, I've started selling cutlery, crockery in the house, teaspoons, cups, anything that I saw it was something to sell. I took it from the house and sell. And when the mother came back from work, he wanted to use his stuff, then he doesn't see his plates or teaspoons anymore. Then he started shouting at me. We had a conflict. Then he said he can't stay with me while I'm using drugs. And obviously we had a bad conversation with her. Then I ended up not staying in the house again, staying with my friend.
A month after the interview was conducted, Israel disappeared. His family believes he's back on heroin. For these families, the challenge of relapse is very traumatic. Elizabeth's son Motibi has been smoking heroin for over 10 years. Elizabeth has become desperate as violence in her home is a common occurrence. Her son's addiction has impacted her whole family.
They removed the case, the protection order, the threats, too. And then Le Samantha the time I'm going to
in the Western Cape, after alcohol and dagga, Turk is the drug of choice among the working class. Its relatively cheap cost and highly addictive nature has led to a massive increase in consumption. Some experts claim 1 in 5 school-going children in the Western Cape is using the drug. It's an upper, which means the users find it difficult to sleep. Instead, they prowl the streets looking for their next fix. Clothing hanging on washing lines, brass tap fittings, even food out of the freezer, anything that can be sold for cash is fair game, and it wreaks havoc on the affected families. And when they can't get their fix, many users turn violent. Perhaps the best-known example of the havoc caused by Turk addiction is that of Ellen Pakis. Her youngest son Adam was a Turk addict. In addition to stealing nearly everything the family owned, he would go into a violent rage. After years of abuse, Ellen snapped. She tied a rope around his neck and strangled him. In acknowledging the years of emotional and physical abuse, the court found her guilty and sentenced her to community service. Her story has been turned into a stage play, and she has since sold the film rights to a production company. Sadly, her eldest son is also addicted to Turk, and one of her grandchildren was recently killed by a stray bullet in a gang turf war. In the working-class townships of the Western Cape, dagga, mandrax, Turk, and heroin are all readily available at low costs. The drug trade in the townships is controlled by criminal gangs who exist at the bottom of the drug supply chain. Stiff competition among street gangs, coupled with the ready availability of illegal weapons, makes for a deadly combination. In the 1990s, it earned Cape Town the label of the murder capital of the world. In the last 2 decades, however, another group has emerged as the force behind illicit drug sales in South Africa. Just another cog in the gears of global organized drug syndicates, distributing their wares from locations around the world.
The network of drug trafficking is not limited to South Africa. It's a global problem. It's a global situation. But specifically to South Africa, there's usually a Nigerian involvement.
Now is the time.
Go Bafana Bafana!
You have what it takes, take what it gives, no retreat, no surrender.
Rise and shine. We believe in you.
Dream to come true.
It is possible.
We give you hope. Itemba Al-Bulad.
Bafana Bafana, we wishing you all the best.
We can do all things through Christ who strengthens us.
Please, not behind the players, behind the coach.
As you go out there and compete to the world, remember, South Africa is behind you.
I wish you all the best. Let's go and fight for it.
And we trust that you're going to come back home with that trophy.
To you guys, all the best for the World Cup.
Long live Bafana Bafana, long live.
SABC gives Bafana Bafana the power to overpower. The power of the powerful.
Keep watching SABC Sport for the love of the game.
Powered by SABC for the love of the game.
South Korea are the most successful Asian nation in World Cup history. Qualification for the 2026 World Cup was a continental record 12th appearance on the game's greatest stage, and an 11th in succession, the 5th best active streak in FIFA. South Korea's run to the semi-finals as hosts in 2002 is the standout performance, but there have been other landmark results, like at Qatar 2022, when they beat Portugal in injury time to reach the knockout stages. Captain of the Taeguk Warriors that day was Son Heung-min, the greatest Asian footballer of all time.
They said he couldn't run until he ran faster than doubt itself. She turned every limitation into liberation, one serve at a time.
The US Open win marks Manjane's second Grand Slam title of the year, adding to her victory in June at the Roland Garros.
Together, they proved that vision goes far beyond sight.
Rosanne Coetzee of South Africa has moved out to the front.
She carried a nation's pride and showed that inclusion is championship.
But it is South Africa's Arune Veyers who's going to take the win.
At SABC Sport, we don't just tell your stories. We see you. We celebrate you. We stand with you.
According to the 2014 World Drug Report by the UNODC, cannabis or dagga remains the most prevalent drug of choice in South Africa. The country also earned the dubious honor of being upgraded by British officials to the most significant source of cannabis smuggled into the United Kingdom. Interpol listed it as one of the world's top 4 source countries for the illegal herb.
I buy and sell, and most of the times I can say like I grow, but not in this area. I have another place where I grow it, and then I bring it this side and then I sell it. Okay, sometimes the money is good, sometimes the money is bad. You know, sometimes cops, they come, they disturb. You have to give them 50 rand, some of them they have to give 100 rand, you know. Especially like those Barretts, some of them, they were used to coming to me to say, no, already we know what you are doing, so what and this and that and that. There was also other time they were catching me for other boy. Other boy was buying stuff by someone else, but now they were coming to me and arrest me because they know me. That's why it's where they bring me to the same place also and busy beating me like nobody's business.
As the most popular drug of choice, the demand for cannabis throughout South Africa is widespread.
Plenty people are buying it. There's white people, there's colored, there's black, there's Indian, there's Pakistanis, there's Bangladeshis are coming there, you know. So I have some Americans also there from the UK, they are coming to my side, you know.
Cape Town street gangs have been around for decades. The gangs have traditionally controlled the local distribution of drugs. However, another group has made inroads into the local market, dominating the drug distribution business in South Africa.
The reality is that every case we've come across, there's unfortunately always a Nigerian involvement somewhere. But the network of drug trafficking is not limited to South Africa. It's a global problem, it's a global situation. And so you've got people of all nationalities that are involved in the trade. But specifically to South Africa, there's usually a Nigerian involvement.
They're selling drugs and coming to kill people here in Brixton, selling this crystal meth and cat and cocaine and crack cocaine is what they do. They're killing people, they're killing our South Africa, man.
On the popular streets of Cape Town's inner city, drugs can be bought on every street corner. Dealers trade on the streets, inside nightclubs, and in the shady apartments in the area. They are almost exclusively Nigerian. Their reach extends from the city center to the outlying areas of the Western Cape. It's the same in every major city in South Africa, and even the smaller cities and towns. They aren't the only international outfit involved in the manufacture and distribution of drugs in South Africa. The so-called Chinese mafia has had a presence in the country for decades and has become a global source for crystal meth, or TIC.
Well, TIC, there are multiple sources. Naturally, we have domestic production of TIC in South Africa, but we also have TIC that is trafficked from neighboring African countries, from West Africa. So we also have TIC and also precursor chemicals coming in from India and China for the manufacture of TIC.
China is a major global source for crystal meth, or TIC. These images were captured during a raid in Guangdong Province's Boshe village. Police seized 3 tons of crystal meth. Entire families, including very young children in the village, are believed to have been part of the operation. Boshe village is now notoriously known for producing 1/3 of China's crystal meth. The 2014 UNODC World Drug Report noted that South Africa was a major consumer market for heroin.
Heroin basically is coming from the Golden Crescent, which is Afghanistan, Pakistan. That is where most of the heroin comes. They will come either on commercial flights, or what we're recently finding is traditional maritime methods using dhows from the Makran coast into East Africa, into parts of the southern African coast, where the heroin would then be smuggled into and then further distributed. So yeah, heroin is basically coming mainly on commercial flights or on maritime routes.
Authorities know where the drugs are coming from, but they seem quite powerless to stop them entering the country and being distributed.
All our energies here at the Directorate for Priority Crime Investigation is focused at that high level where people are involved in the illicit production of drugs.
For the first time in history, the 2026 World Cup emblem features a photographic image of the actual trophy alongside the tournament hosting year. Squares and quarter circles make up the number 26, in reference to the square's edges of a football pitch and the circle of the ball. The number is made up of 48 units of these shapes, representing the 48 competing nations. The master design allows for customization to reflect the uniqueness of each of the 3 host nations and the 16 host cities. This supports the campaign accompanying the design called We Are 26, with the aim of a united North American continent welcoming the world.
This Wednesday on SABC, follow business journeys in Mzansi Instapreneur at 6 p.m. on SABC 1. Then explore unique stories in Ngulayabudibi at 8:30 p.m. on SABC 2. And experience the drama on The Last Post at 9 p.m. on S3. Mzansi Instapreneur, Ngulayabudibi, and The Last Post this Wednesday on SABC.
Achraf Hakimi is the biggest name in Moroccan football and a player redefining the role of right-sided defender. At club level, Hakimi is a UEFA Champions League winner with 2 teams. He celebrated major honours in 4 out of the 5 big European leagues and has been named in the team of the season in Italy, Germany and France. At international level, he's won an Olympic bronze medal, played in a World Cup semi-final and is on track to earn close to 200 caps. At Qatar 2022, he was pivotal in Morocco's incredible run to the semi-finals, dinking a Panenka to seal a penalty shootout victory over Spain in the round of 16. South Korea are the most successful Asian nation in World Cup history. Qualification for the 2026 World Cup was a continental record 12th appearance on the game's greatest stage, and an 11th in succession, the 5th best active streak in FIFA. South Korea's run to the semi-finals as hosts in 2002 is the standout performance. But there have been other landmark results, like at Qatar 2022, when they beat Portugal in injury time to reach the knockout stages. Captain of the Taeguk Warriors that day was Son Heung-min, the greatest Asian footballer of all time.
Fighting organized drug trafficking falls within the ambit of South Africa's Directorate of Priority Crime Investigations, or the Hawks as they are publicly known.
Well, from our understanding, certainly the illicit drug trade is still the most lucrative and dynamic organized crime activity we're dealing with. And government-wide, not only the police, but other law enforcement agencies, other stakeholders, we are collectively working to be able to the vision of a drug-free society. So in terms of narcotics, I think there is a very progressive approach adopted government-wide. We realize that we're not only dealing with reducing the supply of drugs, we also have to deal with reducing the demand for drugs. We also have to work proactively in primary prevention, where we need to look at the precious youth, where we need to look into how do we reach our communities to create awareness campaigns, to be able to ensure that we can be able to systematically reduce the demand. All of these demonstrates a very progressive way that we have adopted in dealing with this. And these are very progressive ways because universally they have worked out that it is not the police or law enforcement that has to deal with drugs or other organized crime. It has to be dealt with in a much more integrated, in a much more practical and holistic way. And in all the issues that we are dealing with, whether it be narcotics, whether it be rhino poaching, it is not only about arresting those that are involved, it's also about educating.
The fight against organized criminal syndicates such as drug traffickers is very dependent on intelligence. It's an early warning system that serves to direct the resources of the various organs of state responsible for ensuring the safety and security of the citizens of the country. They tell investigators where to direct their efforts, who to monitor, and which phones to tap. Successful crime-fighting operations run huge networks of confidential informants, spies, and electronic information gathering networks. In South Africa, there are several agencies that are responsible for gathering intelligence. South Africa's State Security Agency has its own spies and intelligence capability. They're divided into a domestic unit and a unit which operates outside of the country, similar to America's CIA or Britain's MI5 and 6. The military has its own intelligence capability, although they have a slightly different focus, and the police have their own crime intelligence division. Their work is coordinated by the National Intelligence Coordinating Committee, and fighting organized crime requires the resources of a host of different agencies and government departments, including SARS, Home Affairs, the police, and the State Security Agency. These bodies have a massive task to fulfill.
I spent more or less 17 years in intelligence, most of that in civilian intelligence, but also 2 years in military intelligence. Since 2000, I've been running my own company that provides fairly confidential business intelligence services to companies in Africa. It leaves us vulnerable. There can be no doubt about that. If police, civilian intelligence, specialized units like the Hawks, if they are not completely free of being compromised by the criminal underground, then they cannot do their investigations. And if those linkages go high up to political structures in this country, you are taking the risk, you are very close to a situation where your stability as a state and your attractiveness as an investment destination will become questionable.
With the intelligence network fractured and funneling through an ineffectual committee, the rise in the crime rate in South Africa for the last financial year is hardly surprising. Law enforcement is stretched with crime skyrocketing. Robbery with aggravating circumstances is up 8.5% and murder is up 4.6%.
Well, certainly in terms of dealing with the drugs problem, in terms of the police, it is a huge priority police-wide. And in the police, all levels of the drug value chain are being attended to. But naturally, our focus is to be able to deal with those that are involved in the dealing of it, whether it be at street level, whether they involve in regional or national distribution, and most importantly for us, to deal with the drug traffickers, to deal with those that are involved in the illicit production of drugs. And all our energies here at the Directorate for Priority Crime Investigation is focused at that high level where people are involved in the illicit production of drugs. We have huge successes in dismantling clandestine drug laboratories producing crystal methamphetamine, better known as TIC, metcatinone, Mandrax. We are detecting and dismantling huge Mandrax laboratories in our country. So with all of this, certainly we are able to deal with major drug trafficking organizations that are involved in South Africa.
The UN Office on Drugs and Crime's World Drug Report for 2014 indicated that the global use of methaqualone appeared to be on the decline. The report said that this was due to the improved control of the distribution of precursor chemicals which were used in the manufacture of the drug. The report noted that during the 1980s and the early 90s, methaqualone was the second most popular drug in South Africa, after cannabis. The report also noted that South Africa reported the second highest amount of seizures of the drug between 2000 and 2012 and was the main exporter of precursor chemicals in Africa. The illicit drug trade is the most lucrative and profitable criminal activity. However, as the goal of organized criminals is to maximize profit, criminal activities do intertwine among groups. The drug trade is undoubtedly linked to human trafficking and prostitution. An advocate at the National Prosecuting Authority who chooses to remain anonymous for her own safety has worked on some of South Africa's most high-profile human trafficking cases.
It's clear that the drug world is playing a big role in trafficking because they utilize, the traffickers utilize drugs to make victims vulnerable and exploitable. And we see that a lot. I think both are extremely profitable lines of business, but they work so well together. Because you get the client, you get the drum that comes in to obtain sex, but the drugs is such a nice commodity to have to enhance the experience. And the victims are controlled by the drugs.
Private investigator Mike Bolhuis, who has dealt with many forms of organized crime, says we can indeed identify the links between criminal activities.
These women are introduced very subtly into pole dancing or into a strip club, but eventually they get introduced into being sex slaves as well, being prostitutes, and also getting introduced to drugs, so they get hooked on drugs. So once that person is here, let's take a woman now, she's introduced to all these things. Where does she go to? Once that person is here, that person is completely manipulated, emotionally, physically, even spiritually, financially. That person has no way of getting out of that place where that person has been put in. Whatever they do and whatever they get involved with would be crime, and all their proceeds is out of crime. So the interlink between all of them is that certain people will do the muscle work, certain people will deal with money, certain people will deal with the sexual gratification, certain people would specifically do the money laundering. Each one has a job to do, and will do the best they can in that, but they are all together. It's like a chain, they're all linked together.
The chain is extensive and runs into all areas of organized crime. Some might say that the money from the drug trade finances all the other operations, including the huge expense involved in all forms of human trafficking.
This is what it's all about, the FIFA World Cup trophy. Sculpted by Italian artist Silvio Gazzaniga, the trophy is 36.5 centimetres tall and weighs just over 6 kilograms. The 18-carat gold prize depicts two human figures holding up the earth. This is the second World Cup trophy. The first, originally called Victory, but later renamed in honour of FIFA President Jules Rimet, was gifted to Brazil in 1970 for winning their third title. The new trophy has been awarded to 6 nations, 5 of them more than once, with Germany and Argentina leading the way with 3 titles.
Hello, Bafana Bafana.
Now is the time.
Go Bafana Bafana.
You have what it takes, take what it gives, no retreat, no surrender.
Rise and shine. We believe in you.
Dreams do come true.
It is possible.
We give you hope. Itemba Al-Bulad.
Bafana Bafana, we wishing you all the best.
We can do all things through Christ who strengthens us.
Please, let's behind the players, behind the coach.
As you go out there and compete to the world, remember, South Africa is behind you.
I wish you all the best. Let's go and fight for it.
And we trust that you're going to come back home with that trophy.
To you guys, all the best for the World Cup.
Long live Bafana Bafana, long live.
SABC gives Bafana Bafana The power to overpower. The power of the powerful.
Keep watching SABC Sport for the love of the game.
Powered by SABC for the love of the game.